by a show of hands are 20 years old or younger? 20 or younger. Okay. 30? 40? I'm not trying to call anybody out. I am calling people out. What I'm trying to do is make a point. All right, so sit them down. So the people that are 20, does a person that's 40 years old sound really old? See what I'm doing? No. So the reason I said that was because a person's 40th birthday is a really big milestone for most people. This is a time for people to look back on their lives and look at their accomplishments. Most people have a job where they've been employed for a number of years. Many are married and perhaps have a family. At this point in their lives, they have everything figured out. At least that's what I thought when I was growing up. But life happens on its own terms and timelines, and there's never really a perfect time for anything. In this life, there are three things that can happen. What we hope will happen, what we fear will happen, and then what actually happens. My 40th birthday was a huge milestone for me as well, but not for the reasons that I mentioned previously. I turned 40 years old, broke, divorced, bedridden, and paralyzed, wondering if I was ever going to be able to walk or use my hands again. In 2012, I was in the U.S. infantry preparing to deploy. I suffered a severe spinal injury. During the surgery that followed, I died on the operating table twice. And while the surgeons were able to bring me back to the land of the living, when I woke up in the ICU, I was paralyzed from the neck down, and I was told that I would never be able to walk again. My world was turned upside down in an instant. I went from preparing for war on the battlefield to a war within my own body and mind. Now, before my injury, I had read stories and seen movies about people who had been seriously injured and disabled before. And while these stories were compelling, I still lived my life like everybody else with that, but that won't happen to me. That was my attitude. The harsh reality that slapped me in the face was, I felt like I had wasted my life up to that point. At least that's how I felt, facing the potential of being bedridden for the rest of my days. There was so much more that I wanted to accomplish in my life, but I felt almost like I'd been bitch slapped by the universe. I felt like my injury was some sort of punishment for all the opportunities I'd been given, but had never actually put into play. I had wasted so much time, talent, and potential, assuming that I would always have the time, talent, and potential to do whatever it was that I wanted to do. The more I thought about it, the madder I had become. I was beyond angry. I was furious with myself for being so lazy and short-sighted. I thought of all the other times in my life when I had asked lesser of myself because I was like, there's always tomorrow, I'll just do it then. Have you ever done that? Kindle? Yeah? I'll just do it tomorrow. And I put all that stuff off, why? So I could binge on Netflix? Yeah? So I could catch a nap? The realization of my injury was sobering. I felt like a statistic. Soon all this anger that I had was directed inwards and I went into a deep depression. These were my darkest days, and if I'm honest, I seriously considered taking my own life. But I couldn't even commit suicide in my current state. I felt completely defeated, like I'd lost the battle. And I just wanted to give up. And for a brief moment, I let that defeat, that darkness, hover over me. I could feel it slowly begin to descend and completely surround me. Stop. But even in the face of that adversity, I knew the truth. I knew that even if I was somehow able to take my own life right now, that I would be settling for mediocrity. That if I gave up now, in my time of greatest struggle, that I would be settling for what my life had been up to that point. And that's a very dangerous precedent to establish. If you stop trying at the first sign of adversity, you are literally training yourself to give up when you should be fighting the hardest. And that habit in one area of your life will bleed into everything else that you do if you allow it. And that's when I made a decision. I made a promise to myself. I swore that if I was ever able to get out of that bed and walk again, if I was ever given a second chance, that I would never settle, never hesitate, and never compromise on my dreams and ambitions again. Now, I had no idea what the future held for me, but I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't about to sit on my ass and play victim for the rest of my life. Misery loves company, but not as much as mediocrity. And I, for one, would rather die of thirst than drink the cup of mediocrity a second time. You see, adversity has a way of getting your attention because it grabs you, and it shakes you, and it screams at you violently. Hey, look at your life! Is this what you want? Is this what you really want? My injury was the ultimate wake-up call that I needed to rouse me from my slumber of mediocrity. It took losing everything that I thought was important in my life to give me a genuine sense of urgency. In other words, it took my death to make me truly start living my life. So if you listen to nothing else that I say here today, hear this. Stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop compromising, and start acting on the things that mean the most to you in your life right now. Because for everyone in this room and everyone within the sound of my voice, the reality is this. There will eventually come a time in your life when you will no longer be able to chase after your greatest dreams and ambitions. And that time may be much closer than you think. Everybody thinks that they need more time, but you don't need more time to change your life. What you need is a deadline. And there is no greater deadline in this life than adversity. My injury gave me a tremendous amount of perspective. When you're bedridden and you can't move, you have a lot of time to think about your life. And you realize quickly what is truly important and what is not. When you're paralyzed, you realize that the size of your home, the kind of car you drive, the amount of money that you have in the bank will simply be a number on a piece of paper or a computer screen. It's not that big of a deal. And no matter how much money that may be, if you're paralyzed, it can neither buy you more time nor improve your current physical condition. If all the things that society values are truly without much worth, then I ask you, what really is important in your life? Now that's a very good question. And it's a question that only you can answer for yourself. So pay attention to the following 3 questions, because the 3 questions I'm about to ask you will change your life. How do I know this? Because these are the questions I was forced to ask myself, and they changed my life forever. So take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Listen to my voice. And put yourself in this place. Outside of the obvious hopes of being able to walk and recover fully, if you woke up tomorrow, paralyzed from the neck down, what would you wish you would have accomplished with your life? What regrets would you harbor? And if by some miracle you were able to walk again, how would you live your life differently? Now, the things that are coming to your mind right now, these are the things that mean the most to you. These are the things that if you were given a second chance to change, you would do immediately in your life. These are your answers that matter. Thank you for closing your eyes. You can open them now. After lying bedridden for 3 months in that bed, I finally had an epiphany. I realized that all the anger that I was feeling wasn't helping me at all. In fact, it was actually inhibiting my ability to heal. So I was left with 2 options. I could either stay angry and play the victim for the rest of my life, or I could change my mindset about my injury. Of course, that's a lot easier said than done, especially when you're lying there trying to figure it out. But deep down, I knew that there had to be a lesson from my injury, that there had to be some sort of opportunity in my adversity, but try as I might, I still couldn't see it. I also knew that I had to do something to counteract all this anger that I was feeling. And for most people, the opposite of anger is love, but for me, at that point, the opposite of anger was not love, it was gratitude. Just hear me out for a moment. In that paralyzed state, I had to find something, anything, to be grateful for. And I know that gratitude is a big buzzword right now, but here's the thing. It's really easy to be grateful for our lives when everything is going right. Yes? If you agree, say yes. When everything is going well, we can look at somebody else's pain and say, that's not a big deal, because we don't have to feel it. We can be philosophical about our pain, but it's not our own. But when the shoe's on the other foot and adversity comes to pay us a visit, it's a little different, right? Now we want to be the exception to the rule because we don't want to have to face the hardship. Here's something you have to realize, everybody. In this life, you can't just go through and pick the things that you like and be grateful only for those things. That's not how gratitude works. You have to learn to be grateful for everything in your life, both the good and the bad. In other words, when you can be just as grateful for winning the lottery as you are for the person that cut you off in traffic and gives you some sign language, let's just say. When you can have 360 degrees of gratitude, then you're bulletproof. Because now everything that happens in your life is a blessing. The good things will encourage you, while the perhaps not so good things will be an opportunity for you to better appreciate the good things that you do with that. Yes? If you agree, say yes. Yes. It is so easy for us to complain about anything and everything in our lives, from the weather to our job to our relationships. But the people who complain the most do so because they don't really appreciate the things that they have. So the next time you catch yourself in this cycle of complaining about everything, stop for just a moment and ask yourself a very honest question. Is what you're complaining about really that bad? Really? Is it the most difficult thing you've ever encountered in your entire life? Because 99% of the time, it won't be. But during that other 1% time when what you're facing truly is the most difficult thing you've ever encountered, when you're facing genuine adversity and you say to yourself, I don't know if I can do this. In that moment of question, be grateful. Because it is the question itself that will force you to evolve into the person who can overcome this adversity. And it is the question itself that will make you evolve into that person. Adversity is a natural law. Like the law of gravity, it doesn't really care about your opinion when you try to lift something heavy. Because if you can't handle the weight, hey, that's not adversity's problem. Adversity is the drill sergeant yelling in your face the minute you step off the bus in basic training. Adversity is the martial arts instructor who humbles you whenever you act without honor and respect and discipline. Adversity is the parent who grounds you when they catch you trying to sneak out of the house at midnight. Or perhaps when they catch you and you try to sneak back in. And like all of these examples, at the time adversity seems incredibly harsh and almost ruthless. It acts with heartless regard for what you want in that moment. Adversity forces you to drop everything else you're doing to give it your full, undivided attention. Adversity shows up unannounced at the most inopportune times, without apology. Adversity doesn't care about what you want. It doesn't give a damn about your feelings. And adversity doesn't take no for an answer. Frankly, it feels like adversity hates you. And it does. It absolutely does hate you. But it only hates a certain part of you. What part of you does it hate? The weak part. The physical manifestation of adversity is an adversary, an opponent. And though it may sound counterintuitive, an adversary is often our best teacher. Think about it. An adversary is probably the most honest person you will ever meet. They wear their hate for you openly upon their sleeve. It is impossible to misconstrue their intent. And even though they want to do you harm, at least they're honest about it. Adversity forces you to up your game and play at a much higher level. It never allows you to coast or do just enough to get by. Adversity knows your true potential, even when you do not, which is why it kicks your ass when you give less than 100%. The reality is this: adversity offers you no other choice. When there's no other choice, the choice is simple. But there are those who have gone through far greater adversity than what you and I will ever face. Citizens who have had their countries and lives torn apart by war. Citizens who have been kidnapped, beaten mercilessly, and sold into the modern-day slavery of human trafficking. Citizens whose entire families have been wiped out by genocide. Think about that the next time you want to complain that your latte is not hot enough. As you can see, adversity is relative. There are literally hundreds of thousands of people who would give anything to have the things that we are taking for granted this very moment. It makes you realize that most of the problems we have